Welcome back to another Marvel Snap video. Today we're going to be going over one of the best decks in the game that is incredibly good at controlling the meta. I have got an incredible win rate with this deck, and I imagine that it will work really, really well for you guys as well. Let's get into it. Today's deck is made up of Shadow King, Zabu, Jeff, Quake, Maximus, Killmonger, Mobius, Gladiator, Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, Enchantress, and Sera. Now, I did not come up with this deck, so I'm not going to take credit for it or anything like that. It is your typical Sera deck. I think that the interesting cards that are in this is mixing Zabu in with Sera as well as Mobius. But there's lots of good stuff going on here that I'm going to kind of break down so y'all can see why these cards are in here, and then hopefully go over some replacements as well if y'all are missing some of these. So we're just going to kind of cycle through the cards really quick, okay? Shadow King is an incredible card that works really well against lots of things, but the main reason that it's in this deck right now, I imagine, is to counter Blob. So if you don't draw into Shang-Chi or anything like that, you've got your Shadow King to deal with that Blob. You can deal with Silver Surfer decks final turn by playing Shadow King. You can deal with lots of different things with Shadow King. It's really, really good at controlling and just shutting down things. I always say this, but I feel like Shadow King could probably go back to a 3-drop just with how much power potential it has. It's incredibly strong, especially on final turn with Shang-Chi at the same time. And then next, we've got Zabu, a 2/2. Obviously, it's in this deck really just to work with Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, and Enchantress. So right off the jump, if there are any cards in this deck that you don't have, you can always throw in another 4-drop to replace those. And Zabu will obviously make that a 3 cost. So that's why Zabu's in here. Next, we've got Jeff. Jeff is just a really good, versatile card that allows you to gain access to certain locations, allows you to get underneath Professor X's, even though we aren't seeing as many Professor X's as we used to. But it's just a good, well-rounded card that's great to play on curve, on 2, all that kind of stuff. Great card. And we've got Quake, which, let me tell you guys, if y'all were not in the stream yesterday, holy cow, Quake is incredibly fun. I wouldn't doubt us seeing Quake go up to a 3 cost maybe. Very strong card. You can play it early on if you have those locations that destroy or anything like that. And you can also save Quake till the end. Say that there's Isle of Silence and somebody's playing Miss Marvel and some other stuff. You can Quake, moving that Isle of Silence to the middle, shutting them down. I went up against a Loki deck the other day. They had 2 Miss Marvels in the middle and some other stuff, and I Quaked and canceled it out. It was incredible. Quake is really, really good. You need it in your deck. And we've got Maximus here. Maximus is typically a card that you do not play on curve because card draw is one of the most important things in the game. You don't want to give your opponent their cards from their deck until closer to the end. Okay, so Maximus, if you have Sera down, is going to be a 1/6, which is an incredible power potential for you. You also have to think about this. If you're going up against discard decks, say somebody has Black Knight down and then they snap. If you have priority and you have Maximus, you could play Maximus and then they could end up discarding something else with their blade. So that is one time where you might play Maximus a little bit earlier. But also, if you're going up against a Thanos Blob deck, if you have priority final turn, you can play Maximus, and that will remove 2 cards from their deck, so their Blob is just a little bit smaller, but it's really just a good, versatile card in here. If somebody has Dracula down as well, playing Maximus will potentially decrease the chances of them getting a strong card. So Maximus is just good with power and has a couple of good effects too against specific decks. I've also got Killmonger in here. Killmonger is obviously really good for this deck. If I'm going up against somebody who plays Echo, Killmonger's great. If you can take out Black Knight before they discard so that they don't get the Ebony Blade, that's incredible. And then obviously with Thanos completely sweeping the game right now, Killmonger is going to be really good at taking out a bunch of those, as well as people who are playing High Evolutionary, who maybe have Nebula and Sunspot and Misty Knight down. You can play that Killmonger taking those out. We also have Mobius in here. Pretty cool to see Mobius kind of on the rise again because he fell fairly short against Loki decks for a while, and Mobius wasn't really seen, like we didn't see him too much. But the reason that he's in here is obviously to protect us, but to stop our opponent. A lot of people thought Loki was going to be killed in the most recent changes. Not even close. Loki is as good as ever. It's Collector who got a little slap in the face, which does make me sad because Collector's a way cooler card. Maybe not a way cooler card, but Collector's pretty fun to play. But Loki is running strong. So Mobius does a good job here of canceling out that Quinjet and that Loki combo that can be completely devastating to you final turn. We've also got Gladiator. Now, this is one of the cards that I get the question the most of when I'm streaming. What can I replace Gladiator with? We'll go into that in just a little bit, but if you have Gladiator, it's a very good card. 5/8 is solid. I would say that probably 75 to 80% of the time, it destroys the card. You obviously have to know what you're going up against. Like in this video, you'll see a certain scenario where I talk about Gladiator and where it fails. So definitely stay tuned to watch that just to understand a little bit more about Gladiator. But if you have Gladiator, play it. Again, another good opportunity to draw things out of that Thanos deck so that they can't have as much power. So potential to draw stones, it can mess things up, whatever it may be. Or drawing out a big card and then allowing you to play Shang-Chi to take that out. It's always an option as well. Obviously, we've got Shang-Chi in here. Really, really strong card. With Kyera running all over the place right now as well, Enchantress is incredibly important with Shang-Chi. It is a big investment final turn, but if you can play Enchantress on a Kyera that's blocking things and then play Shang-Chi, you're going to be in a really, really good spot. You can Enchantress and Shang-Chi and Ebony Blade. So if people are really committed on that location, that's something that you can do. Lots of different opportunities to still try and make Shang-Chi work. But if you don't have Shang-Chi or Shadow King in your deck right now, you're going to be struggling. Miss Marvel is in here, even with the recent changes. Still an incredibly strong card. It's not too difficult to get 2 cards at either location of different power. Typically, we'll have Zabu and Jeff at 1, and then a 4-drop, and then a 3, whether that's Mobius, Killmonger, Gladiator, whatever. Not too difficult to activate Miss Marvel. Just a great way to kind of spread out some power. Depending on what your opponent is playing, you might want to save Miss Marvel until the end to avoid an Enchantress or a Rogue, but still very, very good, solid card. Next, we've got Enchantress. I've been seeing a lot of Tribunal decks, so Enchantress does great against Tribunal, obviously shutting down that Onslaught and all of those kinds of things. Enchantress really, really good for that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, taking out Kyera so that you can Shang-Chi or so you can Killmonger, depending on what you're going up against, Enchantress can be really good. So if you have that Sera and that Zabu down, then your Enchantress is only going to cost you 2. So you could play Enchantress, Shang-Chi, and Killmonger. Lots of different opportunities there depending on what you have down, but Enchantress is super versatile for us. And then lastly, we've got Sera. Sera historically is one of my favorite cards. I played Sera way before she was even popular. The first deck that I ever made it to Infinite with was with Sera, and Zabu wasn't out yet, so it was funny. I played Discard, and I made it to Infinite playing Ghost Rider Omega Red. That was my clutch go-to play, was discarding Infinite or another big card, and then having Sera down, and then playing Ghost Rider Omega Red. So it's crazy how much the game has changed and how that was like a super sneaky, unexpected combo. But Sera's in here. Absolutely love the card. Opens up so many doors for you. And as I said, if you don't have any of these cards, you can just go through some of the 4-drops or 3-drops if you really want to try and help yourself out. We got Jessica Jones. It's a pretty solid card right now. Obviously, you've got Rescue as well. Which does fairly well because obviously it can't be destroyed, but it can be Shadow King, so you do have to be careful with that. But any of these 4-drops would work really, really well. You could even throw Iron Lad in here if you wanted to potentially get another Miss Marvel or another Gladiator. Obviously, if Iron Lad pulled Gladiator, it would only have 6 power, which would be a little bit more dangerous. But it's kind of up to you. If you want to throw a Cosmo in or another tech card, I always encourage people, like, when they ask, what's the best replacement for this card? And it's like, well, Gladiator is the only thing that does what it does. The only similar thing I can think of is Yondu. And so obviously that isn't like a 1-to-1 at any regard. And so it comes to you, it's like, okay, what do you think would be good? And so you can kind of have your chance to make this deck your own if you're missing 1 or 2 cards, kind of shift it up. But the deck is incredibly good. We've got a really good 60% win percentage after like 50 games with it. It's crushing it. It does really well. Let's go ahead and jump into the games. Jeff. Okay. So yeah, we're playing the same deck. So that sucks. They got rid of my Mobius, and that means if they play their Mobius, then my Sera is not going to work. I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. All right, so I pretty much said that was going to happen. We don't have Sera yet, though, so it isn't too big of a deal. All right, nice. And then we can just move our Jeff, and we'll have, well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this, and then play my Sera. I could be wrong, but I imagine that they have Loki in their deck. So they're just gonna play it right now. Yep. So everybody who said Loki was dead. Come on now. Number 24 in the world is playing it, so doesn't necessarily seem too dead to me. They drew into 6 of my cards. So we'll just have to see what happens here. Shadow King will be okay on the left. All right, so they were smart in giving us priority there. Here's the question. They probably have Enchantress, which also means that they most likely play whatever it is in the middle. 30. They've got to have Enchantress. They had to have drawn my Enchantress. So this subtracts 3 and gives us 5, 6, 7. We'll be at 12. They will still be higher. So I'm actually going to do this and this. Go. I imagine they go Enchantress and then Miss Marvel. No, okay. Dude, heck yeah. Get wrecked. I better win a good amount for that. Right? 4 cubes. Like 4 cubes against the number 24. Victory. Let's go. All right. The Herd. So I'd say either a bounce deck or a Nihilus. Okay, that kind of sucks. We do have Killmonger though, so. Oh, heck yeah, dude. That's pretty sick. So I'm going to go here. And then we'll go Killmonger. And then we can actually play Sera in the middle. What are they going to get from me? Wow, they just got a 10 Maximus? That's huge. But we have Shang-Chi in hand, so there's that. See ya. Ah, okay. So we might just end up playing Shang-Chi on this then. If we play Miss Marvel in the middle, then we'll get 5 over here. So we can go... Oh, no, we can't, man. Well, this will be interesting. So we go Shang-Chi. They might play their 10 in the middle, giving them 11, giving them 22. 8, 9, that's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay. I'm almost trying to decide if I would rather go Enchantress. No, that's not going to do it. I think we go here, and then I think we stack this location. Yeah. Whoa, okay. Victory. That works. I almost want to just bank on the fact that I'm going to draw into a Shang-Chi, because they'll definitely have a Shang-Chi. So we're going to... Alright, they get my Shadow King. Vibranium Mines, okay. I'm going to pull them down here. I'm curious as to whether or not they ignore the middle as well. Okay, that was kind of smart. They should have played Quinjet first so that they didn't get the Vibranium issue. How many cards do they have in hand? Alright, early Loki, they had 5 cards in hand. This 24 is going to be incredibly hard to beat unless we draw in Shang-Chi, obviously. Alright, so their Mobius counters my Mobius. So that now means no more Sera. Okay. I think we do this. And then we can go Miss Marvel in the middle. Probably win. All right, so that's my Mobius and their Quake. They're having a blast playing all these Quakes, man. Okay. This can't be destroyed. Could they go Enchantress? They had 5 of my cards. Mope. That came from Mirage? Okay, so we haven't seen a lot of what they have. There's a part of me that wants to do this. This. Oh, I can't play Killmonger. Frig, dude. Ah! I mean, maybe they don't draw into Enchantress, but I imagine that they do draw into Enchantress, so that's where this gets to be a little bit dangerous, obviously. Do we think they'd... I bet you they try and stack over here. I'm going to add another 3 over there. If they go Enchantress in... Oh, nice. I don't know what this will be. Blue Marvel? Where the freak did that come from? This is a strange play.
Victory.
That's a very strange play. So if they had played their blue marble right here, then they would have won. And I would have lost because I moved that. For some reason, I thought they were going to try and stack. Why did they not do anything with their Loki? I'm okay with that. We got some good stuff to be going up against this deck. I'll play Jeff right here. I don't want to be winning because I want to be able to play Shadow King or Shang-Chi. If they have Kyra, which most of them do, then we're going to need to draw into Enchantress in order to beat it. Okay. We'll see if they play Kyra immediately. Either way, though, we'll go Killmonger, hopefully right here. Okay, wow, that's sick. Please don't play Kyra. Please. Play a bunch more stones. Those will help you out, right? Don't pull Kyra out of there, please. Okay. We did, however, clear up a little bit of room for them right there, which is a bit of a bummer. I'll end up moving that probably. And again, I think I would rather them retain control in the middle if possible. Yeah.
I am inevitable.
Enchantress again would be nice here. Cool. I don't think that I want to. Are they gonna be playing Goliath? Totally see them playing Goliath here. Wow, they could play all that, really? Okay. All right, so I'm saying just in case they like somehow get Kyra over here or something. Okay, I think we win the middle, right? With our 6. Taking out both of those. They're 8, 9, 10. No, we go. Oh, yeah, okay. So good move on this. And then this helps us out. Sick, dude. Let's go. Come on, baby. That's how you counter it. Let's go.
Victory.
All right, y'all. That is a great game to end on, going up against the most popular deck in the game right now. Y'all, on Untapped, the top 3 decks in the game have Blob in them. And the top 2 decks in the game are 2 different types of Thanos decks. So hopefully the team can figure out something and we can get it implemented. I mean, I would hope in the next week, just to freshen things up a bit. But that's how you play this deck. It's really, really good. Hope that you guys enjoyed. See you on the next one. Peace out.